Hello everyone, Maryann here, revealing light, tarot, astrology and spirituality. Wherever you are in the world when you're watching, a huge shout out to you. Of course, we have to address Trump's health. Over the weekend, he hadn't been seen for a number of days, which is quite unusual. And then he appeared after the internet sort of went viral on hashtag Is Trump Dead? And he appeared briefly in a photo that I think is legit, looking very unwell. So we will have a look at what has gone on over the last few days that really took him out. And what are they saying at the White House? Is J.D. Vance expecting to take over? The other big news was the entire board and the head of the CDC resigned in protest at RFK Jr.'s embrace of conspiracy theories and really chucking out the science. I want to know, will this impact America's health standards? We certainly across the world look to America as a leader in a way in health science, and for the kinds of discoveries, breakthroughs that are then passed back across the world. It seems like it's politically expedient to leave him there, although Senator Sanders is calling for his resignation. The GOP, Bill Cassidy, a doctor himself, cast his deciding vote. Let's see what the GOP think about this. I posed a question a few weeks ago, which I didn't get round to looking at, will ICE agents ever be prosecuted for breaking the law? And indeed they are, arresting people who are in America legally, and the violence that they're using when they do make arrests, it's hard to watch, basically. It's hard to watch that this is happening in a democracy. Okay, so, where there's supposed to be rights, civil rights, not just for citizens, but also for those that have legal visas, and also human rights for illegal immigrants. It's quite disturbing to watch. I'm going to, over the weekend we had March for Australia, which is a group of it was an anti-immigration march. There were only a couple of thousand in our major cities and a few hundred in our non-major cities, and that compared to 300,000 that gathered around the country, and also that iconic march across the bridge for Palestine. So when you look at those numbers, you see a very the March for Australia, the anti-immigration. People are a minor part of Australian society, but I wonder whether far-right influences from the US may be infiltrating those March for Australia events. We'll have a look at that. It's quite interesting because, as you know, Australia, like America, was founded by, the First Nations were here for 65,000 years before we came as convicts from England. So none of us are original Australians. We're all immigrated from somewhere, and we have a fairly good workable multicultural society. So I'm not sure where people get off saying, the true Australians, the white Australians. It's quite illogical. Also, will Gulf countries control Gaza? I posed that question a little while ago, and I got that they would. But it seems that Tony Blair, etc., and Trump and Netanyahu have some other plan. So we'll go back and see if the Gulf countries actually will control Gaza, and will that population that has been subject to starvation and genocide, will they be able to stay in Gaza? And I just want to check in on Putin's plans. So let's get started with Trump's health. I'm using the Tarot Grand Lux, Luxe by Cairo Marchetti. And then I've got the Rider-Waite deck out as well. So I hope everybody's having a good weekend. I certainly have had. I got tax time done, got done with the burst blood vessel in the eye, and I had a very, very chilled weekend, but I needed it because I was just so, I'd been burning the midnight candle for a couple of weeks, and I was pretty exhausted. Anyway, all right, let's focus on Trump's health. As you know, I've been saying for a long, long time. A long time. Every time I did a clairvoyant session on Trump, he was in a hospital, or not a hospital, but a sick bed. And I think I said that, sick bed. And I did see him at one point being taken away. No, I didn't say taken away by an ambulance. I said my clairvoyant image showed me him in what looked like an air ambulance. Now, when these clairvoyant images come, they can be a metaphor for he is extremely unwell. He might be checked into a hospital. And as for timing, I don't know when that might be, whether that is sometime in the near future or sometime, is it yet to happen? I don't know. So those people who have said, oh, but you said he'd be taken away in an air ambulance are missing the point completely. The images are for me to look at and say, okay, Trump is unwell. And that's where I came out. That's when I said Trump is very unwell. And it has played out to be correct. Now, will he be taken away in an air ambulance sometime in the future? Possibly. All right. So let's have a look. Let's have a look at his health. Did Trump have a health emergency over the last week? Is that why he disappeared? Did Trump have it? What can you show me clairvoyantly? Did Trump have a health emergency over the weekend? Is that why he disappeared? Why are they something's going into? Well, I would have thought he's back, but it's like he's being given an injection in somewhere. It looks like in his spine, but why he would have an injection in his spine? That's again possibly a metaphor for simply that he had the emergency and he may have received some kind of intravenous therapy. Could even be something like a stent being put in. It's something going into him. What else can you show me? Yeah, it looks like he's flat out on his back as well. Or he may have had some kind of, it's not a full collapse, he may have had some kind of partial collapse. I see him in the seated position and he's just got his head back, almost as if he had some kind of turn. That's what I want to say. And he had, as a result, had some kind of IV therapy. Is this correct, what I'm getting? Did Trump have a medical turn, a medical emergency, a medical event in the last week? Did Trump, which caused his absence? What can you show me, please? Hang on, we'll put that back. What can you show me? Oh, God, the Tower card. And those cards just wanted to come out. The Tower card. All right, did Trump have a medical turn or event in the last week which caused him to stay out of sight? Oh, my God, you wouldn't read about it, would you? Yes. The Tower card is telling me that it was quite unsettling. I mean, the Tower card it doesn't have to be necessarily bad or good, but it does speak to a very lightning quick, unforeseen event that happens and takes everybody. It's like a shock of some kind. So that's the Tower there, and then we have the Temperance Angel upturned. Now I don't read. I got what way have I got this deck? I don't usually. Yeah, I might have had it upside down. I don't usually read. Oh, okay. So, all right. So some are. All right. We'll go with it. Okay. Temperance, no moderation. So this tells me. So there are some reversals in this deck, and we'll keep going with it because that's how it's meant to be. The Temperance card tells us that there was no moderation of his. Remember, I said he'd been told to slow down. He'd been told exactly where his health was at. It seems he didn't listen. Because that brought the Tower event down upon him. We have the presidency at the foundation of the reading. That's interesting, because my next question is JD Vance expecting to take over anytime soon? Neither are good options, but there you have it. We have the Four of Cups, disappointment in the past. 3 cups lost, but 1 remaining. So there's some kind of disappointment here to his presidency. I do believe he's been given fairly bad health news, something he can't control, because the Emperor wants to control everything, but this is at the foundation of the reading, his control, and yet we have the Temperance upside down. We have the King of Swords. The King of Swords, planning and strategizing. This might be worse than what we think, actually. And we have the 8 of Coins turned upside down. So someone's not ready. That people aren't ready for what is likely to happen. Maybe those around him are not ready. It seems to be there's chaos there in the White House. So we have the 4 of Wands in the here and now. This is reunions of family. I don't know, were the family called in? And the Queen of Cups, nurturing and self-care. Could be that, that the family have been told about whatever is wrong with him. We have the Wheel of Fortune in the hopes and fears change. Can be good. Well, it's fortuitous change. It just depends on what your idea is of fortuitous. And then we have the King of Wands, stepping forward, planning. It seems like he's been told he can't keep going. He's had this turn. Maybe they're actively planning here, and we get the 3 of Swords, betrayal. And then we have partisanship. Okay, so whatever's going on behind the scenes, they could be literally, there could be forces that want Trump out. I would say his health is of great concern. I feel that he's been told that he can't keep going the way that he's going. He's had some kind of medical event in the last week, and as a result, he's also sort of broken-hearted, feeling betrayed. And then we have the Knight of Coins, stability, fighting over stability and then moving on, or moving away from troubled waters. We have the King of Cups there at the base of the pack, and the Moon, volatility, the Sun, and the Ace of Swords. I think, and finally the 4 of Swords. I think you're going to find out what's wrong with Trump. It's not going to, Chariot being reversed, it's not going to happen quickly. They're probably going to try and hide it for as long as they can. But I don't think he can go on in the presidency. Okay. All right. Let's see if Vance is getting ready, or is Vance thinking that, is Vance expecting to take over from Trump? Is Vance, no, let's start again here. Show me the White House staff, those people around Trump. How are they handling this? Show me the White House staff. How are they handling this? What's going on in the corridors, behind closed doors in the White House regarding Trump's health? What's going on in the White House regarding Trump's health? There's that King of Swords, planning, strategizing, and the Wheel of Fortune, planning and preparing for change. All right, a lack of moderation is at the foundation of this reading. Sort of quite out of control. They're fighting amongst themselves, I think. We have the Emperor card, or control, is in the past. The thing that they're concerned about, Trump's agenda has been so volatile that you know, how do they retain control if something happens to him? The King of Wands, this is the Congress as well. I wonder if Congress is going to step up a little bit more, pausing, and the Hanged Man, pausing something. We do have a deal being done right now. And then we have the wish fulfillment, which is upturned. It's reversed, so that somebody's not getting their wish about something. The deal that was done is against the wishes of somebody. We have the Ten of Rods. It's a struggle time, hopes and fears. This is a monumental mountain to climb. And then we have the base, relationships, the MAGA. And then we have the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands. She's planning. She represents sort of, to me, like the American people. And then we have the Ace of Cups reversed, not a new start. It seems to me that they can't figure this out. It seems that they don't know quite what to do. Who will inherit MAGA? How will they retain that kind of political power? It seems that they're not quite successful because there's no new start here. And then we get planning, but the ace is upturned, two aces, but the ace is upturned. So something is not going correctly for them. So we have the Ten of Pentacles, which is wealth, the oligarchs, foreign influences, and then a great deal of anxiety. I don't think things are very... I think things are in chaos in the White House right now as a result of Trump's health. You're going to eventually hear about what's wrong with him, but not quite yet. It's like a slow-moving saga, but they can't hide it forever. He is extremely unwell, and he's had a medical event. So is Vance expecting the techno-fascist? I mean, you know, sometimes we have to be careful what we wish for. Vance may be, I don't think worse than Trump, because he doesn't have the charisma nor the personal power to pull it off. But it's who stands behind Vance that is the problem, the techno-fascists. All right, so Vance. Is Vance expecting to take over? Is Vance expecting to take over? Is Vance expecting to take over? Is J.D. Vance, James Donald Vance? Yes, I know he changed his name to David. Is James Donald Vance, James David Vance, J.D. Vance, Let's Dance Vance. Is Vance expecting to take over soon? All right, so we have the Empress, so a season of time, but an abundance, but this is reversed. So we have the harvest not coming in. And remember in my last reading, with the Tower appearing so many times, I said by the time Vance gets to inherit whatever he thinks he's going to inherit, he inherits the Tower, basically. So we have here financial issues. Now, the other big breaking news, and I should have mentioned it up front, was the Federal Appeals Court found that the Trade Specialized Court in America was correct. Trump didn't have the power to impose those tariffs. He also, if the SCOTUS doesn't uphold that, they have to be paid back. So look what we've got here. We had $1 trillion tax cuts, and the victory is crossing this. We have the Sun card. I think he is expecting, I asked the question. Yes, he is expecting to take over. In the past, we have abuse of power, obviously, but also sabotage and self-sabotage. And we have the Page of Wands, and that kind of sums up, I think, Vance's power. He's not a mature power. He's not a consolidated power. He is... he doesn't have the same ability to bring the MAGA along that Trump has. Now we have the Seven of Wands, but it's reversed, so he can't defend himself. It's going to be chaos if this is correct and something does happen. Well, it's going to be even more chaotic. It's like the dominoes. It's the house of cards just falls. So we have the Magician card, manifestation in the present, but we have heavy decisions to be made. A crossroads is here. In the hopes and fears, we have the Voter. Ooh. And finally, we have the Four of Coins, and that is some kind of economic downturn. As we know, we keep being told that, but it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. This was always how it was going to happen. If one plan doesn't succeed, we go to another, and then it's the economy here that he inherits. Now, here's a deal, and then we have pausing of the deal, and then we have the Seven of Swords reversed. So the truth comes out about the lack of control. So is he expecting to take over? I don't know if he understands what he's going to inherit. It's an absolute financial mess. It's an absolute, the economy, the treasury, everything. It's a mess for him when he does. Let's go to that appeals court. Let's go to the SCOTUS. Will SCOTUS find that Trump did not have the power to impose? I can't see how they're going to find any other way, unless they reveal their hand as being highly partisan. Well, we already know that, but this would be just putting aside the law. This would be a lawless decision. Trump doesn't have the power. He never did. He was told he didn't. Will SCOTUS find Trump does not have the power to levy tariffs? Will SCOTUS find Trump does not have the power to levy these tariffs? Will SCOTUS find Trump does not have the power to levy these tariffs? Will SCOTUS find that Trump does not have the power to levy, never did, does not have the power to levy the reciprocal tariffs, because there are some tariffs he can levy, but not in the way that he's done it. So the reciprocal tariffs, the deficit tariffs, however you want to call it, will SCOTUS find Trump does not have the power to levy reciprocal tariffs. The World card, the end of something, absolute end of something. And then we get the High Court. The High Court will have the last say. It ends something. So I'm going to say they find that he doesn't. And the abuse of power is at the foundation of the reading. I think they're going to take it away. But let's keep going. Here's the Queen of Wands in the past. It can be the women on the courts. Perhaps Robert's having to side with the women, but it can also represent the people. The Queen of Swords, objectivity, stability of the law is in the sky, and we have the Knight of Swords, the truth. These are all really indications SCOTUS will find against Trump. The Knight of Coins, which is stability, financial stability, and there we get the Tower. Wow, we don't know the half of it, really. The countries that have ceased trading, the countries that have ceased investing in the US, the countries that are aligned with other, perhaps BRICS countries as a result, India and China now. Our own Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, China is our biggest trade partner. He's made 2 visits to China, to Xi Jinping, and been given a leader's welcome to China. He's made none in Biden's day he was with Biden all the time, but he's made none to see Trump. The Tower card, this is showing me that the finances are unstable, and we've got a Tower card here. the Ten of Swords, complete and utter downfall, and then we get partisanship. Okay, so it's not going to be a straight out, and they'll take their time to make the decision. The tariffs are still sort of bubbling away. They haven't been stopped. And then we get a new plan forward. Watch for some they're going to take them away, I think. But they're going to be, it's the way that they do it, which will be a little bit creative and volatile. Make no mistake. The law is clear. He doesn't have the authority. But I don't know. They're being hard pressed to justify this. We get a new start. So we've got the world and the end here. The world and the new start here. We get surprises. We get the voter. We get the Queen of Cups and maturity coming here. So they're going to find, and the Six of Cups is reversed, which is the past. So the past is found to be, volatile. It's not. It seems to me they're going to take away. There's going to be fighting on the court itself. They're not going to make their decision quickly, I don't think. It's like slow moving. But I think at the end of the day, with these cards the way they are, my bet is that they're going to find that he doesn't have the power, but there's something in their decision that kind of doesn't expose, maybe it won't be retrospective. Maybe they'll make some kind of finding that that the money doesn't have to be paid back. I don't think that he's going to be successful. It is the end of this, not this, however you will call it, blackmail and extortion of other countries. It's the end of that. The Supreme Court will put a stop to it, but they give him a loophole in some way, I feel. I'm not quite sure how they're going to do it. He won't be able to keep these reciprocal tariffs on. He has the power to make tariffs per industry, by industry. So he'll still keep making tariffs. I think there's a limit, though, on that to about 15%. However, these reciprocal tariffs are going to be stopped, I think. Whether or not the money needs to be paid back is another thing. They might put it's not retrospective. All right. Anyway, let's get on with things. That's good news for the consumer, because remember who's paying for the tariffs? You are. All right. It's like a goods and services tax, really, on everything you buy. All right. Well, that'll be gone, I think. All right. He'll still keep putting tariffs on, but they won't be as extensive, as broad, and of course the blackmail and extortion is taken out of the equation to a large extent. Let's go to the CDC. Of course, the board, the head of the CDC has resigned. The board has maybe not all board, but certainly key members of the board have resigned. The CDC is in absolute chaos. Will that affect Americans' health standards? I mean, heaven forbid if America had a pandemic under JFK, not JFK, RFK Jr. Heaven forbid, heaven forbid. All right, so the CDC. Will the chaos at the CDC, RFK's I can't even call it leadership, conspiracy nonsense, will this impact on America's health standards? Yeah, a lot of fighting, a lot of argy-bargy, a lot of, and the tower, there we go, absolutely. Absolutely, it's a disaster waiting to happen. The moon card, so much volatility, people fighting, it's terrible. It really is terrible. The Ten of Swords is the downfall is in the past. And then we get the Queen of Cups in the sky, nurturing, looking out for oneself, looking out for others is in the sky, which means something could change here. The Six of Coins, in debt, giving and receiving help. And we get a crossroads. Yeah, okay, so there's a crossroads here. And then we get funding. The Ace of Coins is in the sky. Something around the funding of health, Medicare, Medicaid, whatever, is in this mix as well. It won't be just one thing. The Hermit card in the hopes and fears is isolation. And then the outcome card is the Eight of Cups, walking away. Eventually, just think, who's propping up? RFK Jr. is Donald Trump. And if my reading is correct, he's not going to be the president. He's not going to see out a full term. What happens to these lunatics after he's gone? Loss and walking away from loss. And then we get the King of Wands. I think Congress is going to step in somehow and try and stabilise this situation. That's what I think. That was my next question. Will the GOP and the Congress step up? He was only confirmed by one vote. Cassidy cast the deciding vote. A doctor cast the deciding vote. And everything Kennedy said will you respect science? Will you keep the vaccine board on? Blah, blah, blah. Kennedy lied. He lied, as they do. So will the Congress step in? Will the Congress step in? Will the Congress step in? Will the GOP finally find their freaking voices, guts? Will the Congress step in regarding RFK? You know, he could even be made to resign. Will the Congress step in and help Americans, the CDC? Will the Congress step in and bring RFK Jr. into line? Okay, the Four of Swords retreat, wounded in battle. And then we get moving out of troubled waters. That's interesting. Moving out of troubled waters after the damage has been done. The Star, I think Congress is stepping up. Don't want to give them any credit. The immoderation, I don't know there's such a word. The lack of moderation, it's in the past, which is interesting. I think they are with the Star of Hope. Here is at the foundation of the reading. This Empress, you know, the abundance not coming off, the season of time, the crop has failed. It's failed. That's hanging over. That's hanging over Trump and his term and everyone else who was complicit in this madness. The wish fulfillment card reversed, not getting their wish. The Two of Wands act in the present. They're going to act. This is be patient. It's coming to fruition in time. Reverse means that, as I see it, that things might happen very quickly. But it also, it's also like they've made their bed as well, and the damage has already been done. The Page of Coins is in the hopes and fears. It seems like there's between the budget, the sackings. It's like the damage has already been done. We do get justice, so yes, they are stepping in. The Devil is reversed in this deck at this moment. Wow. The end of that, the end of the Devil era. Justice is coming, and then we get the end. So yes, the Congress is going to step up, but I have to say that it's like too little, too late. I'm wondering if JFK, I keep calling him JFK, RFK Jr., is he going to be forced to resign? Because that's, to me, I'm seeing a possibility. Is RFK Jr. going to be forced to resign? Is RFK Jr. going to be forced to resign? Just a few cards, please. Show me quickly. Is RFK Jr. going to be forced to resign? The Nine of Coins. Well, that's a yes card. And inevitable. Yes, it's inevitable. It's inevitable. The Nine of Coins is like you've got everything you want, and then the Judgment card is change, forced change. Okay, so oh dear, disappointment is at the foundation of the reading. The Knight of Cups, a deal. They could even be in contact with him. Abuse of power, sabotage. Is he going to be forced to resign? The Eight of Cups, he doesn't know what he's doing. The here and now is change. I think they're actively holding talks. And then we get the Page of Swords. I don't think they've got the numbers yet. The King of Cups is in the hopes and fears, and then the outcome is fighting yet again, and then a deal being done. Is he going to be forced to resign? I think they're already talking to him. And then we get the Knight of Wands, the plan sort of failing, momentum lost. And then we get the Eight of Swords reversed. I don't know. It looks like they're going to they're going to talk to him to try and rein him in some way. The Three of Coins, I don't think people are coming back unless he goes. The past is not come. It's sullied in a way, the past, and then we get the Sun card. It's a real mess, is what I'm seeing. There's a lot of damage already being done. The GOP will try, I guess, and address that. But whether they can or whether they can't, I don't know that people will come back unless RFK Jr is gone. Now, will he go? He's going to promise. He's going to promise to try and do better, that sort of thing, but it's too late. So in short, I don't see him resigning right now, but that's not to say he won't in the future. All right. I want to know, it's a long reading, will ICE officers ever be prosecuted for breaking the law? Trampling on people's rights, civil liberties, acting like a Gestapo. Will ICE officers, they've got their faces covered, will ICE officers ever be prosecuted for breaking the law? Will ICE officers ever be prosecuted for breaking the law? Wow, I got the prosecutor's card. Yes. And giving and receiving help. I mean, they know who they are. It's for what they've done to people that's illegal. The foundation of the reading is lies and deceit. We get the Minor Arcana Death card is in the past. Will they ever be prosecuted? They'll certainly be made to change their ways. And then we get leaving people out into the cold. It's like some of them are going to be sacked. Wish fulfillment is in the here and now. And then the Temperance card. The Temperance card, moderation. Justice is in the hopes and fears. Of course, that's where justice would be. And we get the Queen of Pentacles, stability, and the Devil card. Stability, the Devil, and then being worried. I think they should be worried. There's a surprise here and a new start. They'll certainly be let go eventually. Care for each other, care for themselves, boundaries being breached, waiting for one ship to come in, anxiety, and then it's not going their way. It's not going to go their way. Eventually they will be tossed out, and I think the worst of them, depending on what the people demand, this is in the hopes and fears, there's a possibility of prosecution. Okay, gosh, I wanted to I'll have to look at the far-right anti-immigration protests in Australia and Gaza in Thursday's reading. I do want to do an eclipse reading as well, so stay tuned. Bye for now.